Hi Randall, welcome to the Lady Denman Maritime Museum and Gallery. You just had an opening here last Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit about that opening?
Sure. It was my 20th exhibition. So my first exhibition was held at the Lady Denman. It was the first exhibition that they'd had here in the tiny foyer. And now this is a wonderful purpose-built space, the Vera Hatton Gallery. And I had a very good fun opening. There was over 100 people and it was all very busy and very nice, without any problems really, with the exception of a gorilla getting out of a cage and running in and stealing a banana from Prince Charles, which was not supposed to happen, and of course that caused the elephant to then come in to the gallery, which was another strange occurrence. But apart from that, it was a fantastic opening.
Yeah, I read somewhere that you aim to amuse and challenge your audience, and I think you certainly succeeded at the opening. Your portfolio is incredibly diverse. What do you prefer?
What do I prefer? I like it all, which is why it's probably such a variety of things. I mean, I went to the National Arts School in 2001 thinking I'd be a painter. And I'd always painted since I was, say, 15. Yet when I got there I discovered sculpture, and there were a lot of materials to use for sculpture, and I thought this could be a much more interesting thing to do. So I then branched into sculpture, and I won the Robin Gibson Gallery Prize, which meant I had to exhibit sculptures at his gallery for an exhibition with a couple of other people he'd selected from the school. So he then expected me to do sculptures mostly for his shows, which meant that I did a lot more sculptures. Then I won a prize, which was a 3-week residency at the ANU, the Canberra University. In the sculpture section I could do whatever I wanted, so I found myself doing bronze. It was going to be winter time when I was there. I thought I'll get in the foundry where it's warm and I'll do bronze. So that's extended that again, so there's a few bronzes in the show that you will see. Yeah.
Randall, I can see a lot of gorillas, monkeys around me here. Where does that fascination for that come from?
I don't really know, but it's a sort of an animal that I've always liked. When I was 13, I wrote a letter to Taronga Park Zoo actually asking if I could buy a monkey, and they wrote back to me saying that it was an impossibility, you could only have them in zoos. But no, I've always found them an interesting animal, and because they're supposedly the closest relative to us in the animal world, it's a great metaphor to use in showing up humans. It's a chimpanzee reading a Bible. You wonder whether they're smarter than us or whether they're not. And sculptures like the one up here with the skulls sort of leads to the idea of extinction, and possibly who's going to be extinct before the other. We always think that, and orangutans and gorillas are already on their way out, but the world's supposed to end on the 21st, and that's only a week away or so, isn't it? The Mayan calendar. So who knows? We may do ourselves out of the world before they do.
Well, I hope not.
No, me too.
I also read that you were a resident and artist at the Hopetown Hotel in Sydney. Now, what was that environment like to do? And I think you did a lot of sketches, and black and white sketches. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It was a very good. It's not open anymore, unfortunately. It was closed down because that area is becoming more residential and there's noise. But it was a fantastic small pub that put on probably 4 bands a night in a fairly small room. It was a great opportunity for young Sydney musicians to get out and do things. And I was attending art school at the time. I used to pay to go there, but I asked the boss one day could I come in and maybe I could swap him a drawing every now and then rather than paying the $8 or $20 to get in. And he thought that was a great idea. So for 5 years I could go in there and draw. Depending on what time I got in there, I could get a good table right in front of the band, or I'd get there late and I'd be behind the sound system. So I've got many drawings of lots of different good bands, some of which are quite famous bands now from when they first started out. But that was good fun.
And we've got a couple of display cases which show your sketchbooks. And can you walk us through that one?
Sketchbooks. I've got many sketchbooks. This is a small selection. Unfortunately, I can only open them all at one page, but there's many drawings in there that I'd like to show. They're from my whole time, really, so a lot of them are travelling sketchbooks. I travelled overseas for 5 years, so there's pictures of my friend having a shave in an Indian hairdresser, or barber, sorry. And I actually find that they're the most interesting thing for me in the exhibition, and I've had to go back through them all, which has been really interesting, sitting there at night time, and there's so many memories and pictures of different people. One of them in here, which is, well, actually in this case here, there's a lot of drawings from on the train. I used to have to catch the 5:40 in the morning train up to art school on a Monday. So at that time in winter, it's still dark, so you've got the opportunity to see your reflection in the window, and you can do self-portraits. And then, of course, a lot of drawings of driving through Gerringong, and so a lot of train drawings, a lot of travel drawings. And this little picture here is probably one I'll just quickly tell you about. I don't know if you can see that on film, but it's a small picture. We decided to, quite late at night time, take a friend's go-kart that he'd made down the hill at St George's Basin. It's a pretty steep hill, and the three of us got on there and off we went. Well, I came off. And when we got home, amongst the blood and everything, I decided while I was being patched up I might as well do a drawing. So that's actually done in my blood with my finger of the go-kart accident.
Well, it's interesting because I know what it means. Yeah, other people obviously don't. But you've got an orangutan here, he's got a chainsaw, and he's about to find out what it does when he pulls the cord. And of course it will start up. And then he's going to realise that is a great way of getting down the bananas that go on the top of the building. I called the sculpture Unconditional Desire, meaning that he doesn't care what's in the way. He's not concerned about the life and times of any of these people living here. He just wants those bananas. And I did the drawings for this sculpture. I was travelling in Borneo, and I stayed in a very far away jungle camp. And I thought, and I saw orangutans in the wild. I paddled across the little lagoon with the boat, and there was the big orangutan. But I wake up in the morning to the sound of chainsaws, you know. And flying into Borneo, there was not a lot of rainforest. There were a lot of palm oil plantations, and where I stayed was the most concentrated amount of wildlife in Borneo, and I worked out why, because everything else around had been made into palm oil plantations, and there was only a small pocket of rainforest that these guys could live. So, you know, most people should probably, after a while, be able to work out that that's what this is about. Over there, a tree is worth a lot of money, and on most of the rivers, if you sat there for longer than 10 minutes, there would be a barge come down full of logs. And these guys' habitat had been slowly eaten away all for the sake of money. And I mean, orangutans don't deal with money, but they really like food. So that's what that's about.
Thank you very much for your time, Randall. It's a fascinating exhibition, and I'm sure the visitors to the Denman will absolutely love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.